All right. It shows me once again over here that I am live. So, hi, everyone. It is Sunshine, the pink haired psychic medium, high priestess, Reiki master, here on a very exciting Friday the 13th. Yes, this might not be up on the platforms until maybe, Monday, but it is Friday the 13th, which is a pretty big day for the witch. And so, for all of you witches that celebrated, I hope that it was fabulous. I hope that you really devoured and bathed in all of that really beautiful divine feminine energy that is ripe on Friday the 13th. We are I ask every week when we post, I ask my group, what do we want to talk about? What would you like to hear about? And sometimes I get some responses, other times maybe a little less, maybe none. And so somebody, interestingly enough, this past week said something about relationships, and it was really kind of curious for me because I went, interesting. I don't know if I can find anything to talk about. And then it was like almost like the universe itself just gave me all of the little examples of things that I could talk about all throughout the week, because I think I saw that on a Monday. And so we are talking about relationships today, my dear friends. And I think the title of the podcast is even like relationships word. Because, well, before I even get into why, because I'm going to tell you why, that's how I do it every time. I'm going to talk first about the kinds, right? We go all the way, we start making sure we're all level set. We're talking about this from the same place. What kind of relationships am I referring to? And it is really all relationships of a, on a scale of like 0 to 10, and 0 being like your mailman. Well, no, I mean, some people have a really good relationship with their mailman. Like, the person that you pass by in the street walking into the store versus like your long-term partner of 25 years, right? We're talking about probably 4s and ups, right? Folks that you have some regular experiences with, there's some intimacy with, there's a little bit of vulnerability with. So these are going to be familial relationships, your parents, your kids, your siblings, maybe even some extended family. This is going to be romantic relationships, those people that we have, sexual or romantic interests in, right? And romantic, I want to be clear, romantic can also be just like a strong desire. Like, I think romance is being love. And so sometimes it can just be a real strong desire to like know someone deeper. And people like equate this to like, that doesn't always equate to like some trauma can mean that like people equate it to sexual relationships, but it really means like just a deep desire to get to know, like to truly love someone. So romantic relationships are going to be people that are probably not your family that you want to extend like love to in an intimate way. And then the last is going to be like work or career or like a network or things of that nature. Folks that you're keeping, your extended network, so to speak, is also going to kind of fall under a little bit into that work category. So we're talking about all sorts of relationships here. We're going to talk about how these, relationships impact your witchery, impact your power, impact your ability to truly show up in this world as the badass, powerful witch that you are, right? And so we're going to look at this as a couple of different ways. Number one, I think I've shared before. If not, I'm sharing it again. I look at kind of these 3 pillars around witchcraft. The very first one being psychic abilities, right? So if you have not honed in deeply into your own psychic abilities, your ability to differentiate between messages for yourself or messages for others may be difficult to do. So that's the very first piece. If you've got folks like relationships around you and, maybe they really are in a place that they need a lot more guidance and support, you're going to be getting messages for them. Like, that's just how it is, especially if they happen to be at a point in their life that they're being called into a major transformation. Like, you're going to start getting messages. And if you don't know how to differentiate between a message from them, for them and you, that can be very confusing. The other thing from the psychic abilities perspective, if you aren't incredibly honed in your gifts in that department too, If you are around someone in your circle that has like an overactive third eye, they're not taking care of their own, psychic development or their own protection around their psychic gifts. It could impact you. That overactive or even that underactive third eye could just kind of like blindly, bleed into your auric field, right? We are the company that we keep. There's a reason why that sentiment is shared and discussed. And, that psychic ability, that our psychic senses being fired up when things hit our aura, our auric field, you could absolutely just pick up on, just from an empathetic perspective, their energetic vibration. And so this gets us into the second pillar, which is that pillar of like magical power, right? The ability to bring about changes in the universe through, intention and will. If you are around folks that have low vibrational energy, and they are in fact impacting your vibrational energy, that means you could be doing low vibrational magic. Now, it's not wrong or bad, but your results are going to be slow. They might be a little bit more chaotic. They may not work completely, right? So that's kind of the second pillar. And then that third pillar is, our healing gifts, which is have healing gifts, healing, this really innate healing, the ability to like heal from an energetic perspective. And so these folks, these relationships that you're around could be unknowingly pulling your healing energy, right? Because you don't have the you might not know or be keeping up that protection, right? And this is really, really common in romantic relationships because we often are letting our guard down. We're providing ourselves, we want that deep level of connection and intimacy. So we provide, a more vulnerable path to us. We open up our heart chakra. And the moment that that heart chakra is open without filter or protection, that means that energy can be pulled. And if that person on the other side is unconsciously trying to heal themselves, they're going to naturally start to pull that energetic field, which can have a whole slew of detriments to us, right? Which, of course, gets to why in the world would I be sharing any of this with you, right? I am saying this because your relationships matter. The relationships that you surround yourself, the familial relationships, the romantic relationships, the work, the network, even the network relationship, the extended network, right? Who other people that you are around even hang out with, right? So if you have got someone that is in your inner circle that is constantly bouncing themselves into like a low vibrational, chaotic, crazy, it's going to, like, once again, we are the company that we keep. They are, even though they may not present it, they may mask that in front of you. They may glamour you into believing that it doesn't exist, right? It's still impacting you. So your relationships matter, right? And so I'm going to help you out here a little bit. Boundaries, number one, most important thing. If you are constantly having to fight emotional triggers, dealing with low-key abuse, finding yourself stuck in the repeat behavioral patterns, clamoring for things that, like, wishing for things that are never coming, you need to take a look at the relationships around you, because there is probably a low vibrational energy or an energy that is not supporting and serving you. So setting a boundary and deciding how to change and adjust that relationship so that your energetic vibration can raise is really important. That means you have to decide who you want to have access to your energy, who you don't want to have access. It is your energy to choose what you do with, and it is very precious and valuable. There are two things, I think a lot of people, probably have heard this one, but I believe now that my guides are saying this, two things that you can never get more of in life, right? That you can't just like miraculously just go out and purchase more of. Once it's gone, it is gone, right? And that one is time And that other one is our energy, right? If we deplete it, if we allow others to deplete that energy, we literally have to wait for it to come back. And let's be real, if we continue to abuse ourselves over and over again and allow that energy to be depleted over and over again, the universe at some point is going to say, I don't think you fucking want that energy. So make a decision, even if it's the hardest fucking thing you've ever done in your life. Figure out, do you want someone to have access to your energy? I have walked away from some really close relationships because they were not serving my energetic vibration. It took me a year to ask someone I love very deeply to part ways with me. It took me probably about 5 years to make the decision and to admit that I couldn't talk to my parents. These are not easy decisions. I'm not saying make them rashly. I'm not saying make them, in a fit of rage. I'm saying really reflect and look deeply, work with someone else if you've never explored those shadows before, because it may be the best decision you've ever made in your life. I have more peace in my life. I have more love in my life. I have more happiness, more joy. These things that really matter to me are here because of the relationships that I've chosen to surround myself with. So I'm going to leave you with this last little tidbit. You may want to grow your gifts. You may want to grow your ability. You may want to step into your magic, right? You may want to embrace all of those healing gifts. But if you do not have the right folks around you, your journey is going to be harder than it needs to. If you surround yourself with the right folks, you're going to find that your results skyrocket. So that's it for today. Happy belated Friday the 13th for those of you that are listening to this as a recording or on a repeat, and just maybe stop for a moment and put yourself into that Friday the 13th energy and just maybe feel how delicious it is, because we can always step into that energy at any point. Doesn't matter what time it is. So, all right, my dear friends, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful rest of your day doing whatever you're doing. I think I say this in the outro, but if you are, watching this or listening to this on the podcast, even if you're watching this video, subscribe, do all the amazing things. You don't want to miss it because I got a lot of really cool things that I can share with you. So until next time, my dear friends, much love from me to all of you. Woo-hoo.